Divine Spirit and gracious Creator, we're all here to open ourselves up unconditionally to your divine assistance and continued direction. As well as receiving your healing and guidance, we are fully open and ready to receive and notice signs and blessings. We are truly grateful and thank you. Amen. Please settle your minds and focus on your crown chakra. And when you are ready, open it for Spirit to supply you with its source of energy. As it enters your crown chakra, allow it to rebalance all your chakras, starting with the crown, moving on to the brow chakra, down to the throat chakra, and then onto the heart chakra. Carry on working its way down to the solar plexus chakra, further down to the sacral chakra, and then down to the root chakra. Allow the spirit energy source to visit all your minor chakras to maximize our potential in this circle. Let the energy settle in your body, and when you are ready, move your focus back to your heart chakra and start linking with all other members of this circle unconditionally. Set your intentions on the tasks we need, please, to maximize our ability to make the links to spirit that we need to achieve. We've come together on the earth plane with the purpose of receiving answers to our questions from our spirit guides and advisors that are happy to link with us. I would like to start by introducing members of our circle here tonight. My name is Neil, and with me today is Pam, Donna D, Sharon, Judith, Helene, Donna, Sue, Adrian, and Ashley. I would like to welcome all members of the Spirit Circle and thank you for believing in us. As we try to lift our energy levels sufficiently to enable you to bridge and make contact through our mediums, we are focusing on offering you the opportunity to link through us. Please link directly through your choice of medium. And if you're happy to link through another medium at the same time as another soul from spirit does, please do so. Where possible, we respectfully appreciate confirmation that we have achieved a successful link through either a sense of doing so, or even more grateful to hear the spoken word itself. As we try to lift our energy levels in our own circle and with the help of our own guides and others in spirit, we do look forward to making the connection to the spirit circle. When we have achieved that, could you confirm when you are ready for questions to be put to you, please? Focus on sitting round the fire. Focus on the flame and connecting with one another to complete the circle. combine your love and lift your energy.
As well as focusing on joining together, focus on your heartbeat. take notices of the movements in your body and around your throat and face area, but do not be discouraged by what you feel. There is a guide named Gwen, and she has made a connection to one of you. You do not need to let her speak, but she will assist you.
Thank you, Gwen, for coming amongst us and helping.
There is some anxious energy. Please do not be afraid. Take a deep breath and just relax. Nothing will happen if you do not wish it. Good evening, Neil.
Good evening. Have you blended with Adrian?
Yes, I have.
A very warm welcome to you.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a name you'd like to go by tonight?
Yes. My name is David.
David. Lovely, David. Thank you. Just as an introduction, David, have you had a life on the Earth plane previously?
Yes, I have had quite a few.
Is there any one particular you'd like to describe the highs and lows in that would be meaningful to us hearing about?
Oh, I've explained one of them before to you. This is my second time in tonight. Hope you do not mind.
I don't mind at all, but did you use the name David before or a different name?
No, I stay by David. It is the best way.
Okay, thank you. Or would you rather I go straight into the questions, David?
I was just trying to find a relevant.
Okay, no, that's
Life.
good. That's good. 'Cause we enjoy listening to those to start with.
So in a previous life, I will use one of my earlier lives, if you do not mind.
No,
Where
that's fine.
it is still in the region I tended to have most of my lives in and around Jerusalem and Israel.
Okay,
I found I was drawn to that lives in that region for quite a while. But in this particular life, it wasn't a particularly long life that I had. I managed to get married to a wonderful wife, and we just had the one child. This would be about the 8th century before Christ.
okay. Yeah,
Which was quite a difficult life at the time. We was going through a time of little rain. Things were quite difficult to grow. And people was moving around a lot, trying to find food and shelter, trying to make do. There was currency at the time, but we tended to trade for things we'd made or things we could,
okay.
our experiences. So you would do something to get something else. My wife, she would make clothes in return for cloth and food that then we may sell on. To then help us to buy more food to support our child. She was called Sarah. She had wonderful energy, but she was quite a poorly child.
Right, okay.
But we muddled along as best we could, learning from each experience. We finished up as a family, living on, you would call it like a small farm as such. It was more where they had more animals than food that grew out of the ground, but it was quite small. It was run by an elderly couple. We helped them. They had grown old and not had any children of their own. So we made friends. We became like family.
I was going to say, did you bond with them, really?
Yes, but it wasn't an intentional thing. It was just something that happened. I suppose it was like we clicked.
Yeah.
And it was good that we did, because through the times and troubles that we had, we bonded close. Unfortunately, within that life, I had a fall, and I broke both of my legs. But unfortunately, in times, the medicine wasn't so good. Knowing how to fix things was not great.
Yeah.
And I ended up passing. But the reason I brought this small story was that people today do not seem to want to mix or meet others. They struggle and look to others sometimes in need of help, not realizing how far and what they've learned through their own experiences. And not everybody is out to gain things from others to look like they are vulnerable.
Yeah.
There have been in these times, there are people that take a lot for granted and try to gain off others, but there are many that aren't. And if it wasn't for that elderly couple, I don't know what my wife and my daughter would have done. But I was able to pass, keep an eye on them, and watch my child grow. And my wife eventually meet somebody new to live out her life fully. This gives you pleasure. That they do not hold on, living alone when they do not need to.
Okay.
Which is another thing that in this day, some people do learn not to just meet one person and then have a tragic loss maybe and not reach out to keep living their life. It's like they have to or they cannot move forward, but they should. Because when in spirit, there's nothing worse than watching somebody struggle alone when they do not need to. There is always fun to be had after. Do not grieve for too long, is what I am saying in that part of things.
Yeah.
Learn to trust yourself. Check in with yourself as well. To feel realize what you have done, how far you have come.
I think there were several messages, within your recounting of that life. Thank you for that.
It is my pleasure.
That will help. That will help focus. Yeah.
It's hard to compress a whole life, even as short as that one was, but yes.
I'm sure many others will see those as well. Okay, thank you. Are you okay for me to go on to questions now of a random nature?
Yes, I am. I sense that
Okay.
you are enjoying the energy this evening.
I am, yeah, and it looks like everyone else is as well. Thank you. I'd like to ask one question that one of our group asked me earlier tonight. Now, I'm not saying I know anything about it, but I will ask it on their behalf. As I said, one of our group once attended an Ascension channeling circle and was told to use 2 light codes and say a specific meditation. Now, how should she use them and what's their real purpose?
There is no purpose. I knew where this was going when you said it. And please do not see me as being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Prayer is just a question or to talk to God. But within that, he connects to the guides of the person giving the prayer. When in meditation, you don't need to know specific things to say or do. The biggest thing is intention and self-belief. The love that you will feel, the connection from the energies. When you are ready and you can ascend, it will happen. And whatever words are said really will make not much difference. It is all to do with, as you would say, divine timing. If it is time, it will happen. Quick for some, slow for others.
How did such processes like these evolve?
It would have all been started with somebody's own perception of either what they did or what they saw from somebody else. But we all forget we are our own energy and we're our own person. So yes, you can try to copy others, and sometimes this will work. sometimes this will not work because it might not just be your time. You might not be quite in that frame of mood or your energy to lift to that point. But you can ask just a simple thing in your head at the time, at the point you are in that meditation. If your ego has been put to the side and you are going on the first thing that comes into your head, your inner spirit, your soul will help you. It will lift you. Simple things like simple affirmations. It is always just simple things that would get you where you want to. If the time is right.
I mean, personally, I appreciate, in a way, the simplicity of your answer. And I feel sure, I think that person, when they watch the recording, will reflect in the same way. So thank you for that again.
I try to keep things simple.
Yeah. Going on a different tack then now, David. Why are alien races watching us, and what impressions are we giving them from your point of view?
They are watching and learning. It is a bit like one of your TV programs, one of your documentaries. It helps them see where they were once, not in terms of necessarily being human, but the attitudes, behaviors that they have moved forward from. They are looking to see where they can help. They are learning. They will intervene where they need to.
How do they intervene then? Is that because they're among us without us realizing it?
Yes, in a way. But the intervention is only into preventing certain things.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm on the wavelength now.
There are certain things that might help advance with some things, but that is meant to be learned on the way to growth, to evolution. The aliens that you seek are here to help, guides in their own right.
Okay.
They are not of a civilization here to plunder or for destruction.
I've always taken the view that if they were here to plunder and destroy, they would have done it before now. That's my honest view.
You
It's
have
personal.
a good natural instinct there, Neil.
Okay. Are there many angels actually living physical lives on the earth plane to speed up changes needed in human behavior? And if they are here, do they actually know they are angel spirits when they are actually on the earth plane in a physical form?
Yes and no. Yes, there are
Okay.
angels. Yes, there are angels that know what they're here to do.
Yeah.
Others have been born as you and the group, that just by living their life and doing what they do, but it will be a natural thing of how they help and what they do that
Yeah.
will help. So they are two types that you would see physically living. One with memory, one without.
Okay. Do the ones with a memory, though, leave the earth plane as soon as their purpose is complete?
Yes, they do, but they can return very quickly in another form.
All right. Okay.
They may take another life immediately. I can say to you that these would be the people that you would see as they would tend to live alone. They would be in your life for a short time, or around a community for a short time, or a period of time, never seeming to have maybe children or things like this. Then they would just move off, and everybody might say, has anybody seen this particular person? And they would just disappear. Always, but in your heart, you would never forget them.
Yeah.
And the community would say many years later about this particular person, always remembering what they did, how they used to help, but suddenly disappeared.
Yeah. So are you saying, in effect, they didn't pass in human form, they just disappeared?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But it wouldn't be a
That's
disappearance that one day they were there, they would gone. There would be a
yeah.
story that they've moved somewhere else, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And left their memory and left their what they taught us. Okay. As a soul in a human vessel, how do you recommend we abandon our negative traits? What's the best way to deal with them?
I am trying to think of everybody will see it differently and have different views on it. Yes, everybody needs to leave their negative behaviors behind them, but they will always be a part of you. It is just reducing them.
Okay.
To reduce them is to try and replace them. So rather than having the negative thought, try to look at a more positive way of saying something or doing something that you would normally do in a negative way.
Yeah.
Work up to it. Start with the
Not
smaller things.
not everyone appears to be able to do that, do they?
No, no, they do not. It is a tough one to teach or advise on because of the differences in how certain people react and even their negative behaviors themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are positive to everybody, but just negative to themselves.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they are very positive with themselves, but negative to everybody else.
Yeah.
The easiest way is to catch yourself around young people, young children, so they do not see it. But obviously life will have things in store for them. But it is trying to catch it before you let it consume you. If you can let it go, write it down, learn from it, but just start with the small things. Simple things like, it's going to be a bad day today. But is it? What's made you say that? Just because it may be raining, or it's something that may have got cancelled? Those small things that you might say without proof. Little things like that.
Yeah.
You might wake up and stub your toe. You think, oh, I'm going to have a bad day today. No, you woke up, you stubbed your toe. That is it. That's all that happened. Do not make something small into something big when it comes to negative thinking and behavior.
Okay, good piece of advice. Thank you. If we didn't suffer, would we actually realize the difference between suffering and enjoyment? You know, is that a purpose of suffering?
Yes, it would be. Suffering is not a very pleasant thing, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
There could be better ways of learning different things than going through that. But like anything, if you only had one experience of something, or never experiencing the opposite of things, like you say, it would definitely be unbalanced and set other things in motion.
I mean, another way of asking that question is, in our lives, should we expect to pay for our pleasures in some way? So, you know, if you have lows, you have to have highs, and vice versa.
I wouldn't say you should expect one when having the other.
Okay.
But there does seem to be a pattern there.
Okay.
But I think if
you have a saying. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, but if you could just go with the flow at the time, I think it would be easier. Something I learned.
I think you're reading my question list because that was my next question. We have a saying, go with the flow. But who determines what our flow is?
You decide the flow of whether you by choosing your actions and behaviors. It is trying not to let things get to you too deeply. It is
But when you say we do, but aren't we influenced by our guides and our teachers?
You are, yes. But if you can tune to yourself and
Okay.
you are a team in your own right. I suppose I don't know whether anybody's mentioned this before in the groups. You are Neil, living Neil in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Within you, Neil, is a soul, and adjoined to you is your team. But you are part of that team.
Okay.
When people say to become one, it is becoming one with yourself, but it is one with your team, your family. Like when you are in spirit, you become one with the rest of us. But within your one is your team. I know it sounds a bit, how would you put it? What would Neil say to this one? Maybe
I can
complicated?
I can actually relate to that, you know, personally. I'm not saying everyone can, but I can. But that leads me on to another question then. Because we are one, particularly in spirit, can we then hide our true opinions and nuances from other spirits when we are back home in spirit?
Of course you can. We can link and share things with each other. But if there's something, you all have your own privacy, but things are different. You forget you have human memories and human thoughts, but when in spirit, it becomes the other way around. You are more in tune with your true self, as you would say.
Yeah.
So if there's something you do not wish to share with others, you do not need to. But you'll find that there'll be very little that you would wish to share, because you know that with sharing, it is helping others learn. It is. You just let go, you just release. It is a sensation, a feeling you cannot describe.
But presumably in spirit then, David, there's an understanding or a common purpose. Can't quite find the right words, but that every spirit adheres to, is that right?
Yes. It is just, in a nutshell, learning, gaining experience and knowledge. That is the common purpose, to live and learn and love and grow and expand.
So do spirits actually have a choice on whether to return to the earth plane for another life? Or is it down to guides, teachers and elders convincing them it's in their interest to do so? Or is it a mixture of both?
It is a mixture of both, yes.
Okay.
If you do not wish to go, then you do not go back. If it is something strongly that your guides and your teachers or your group feel that you should, then that might be brought along further on in the future.
Yeah, okay.
But sometimes it might be beneficial to take a break and go somewhere else or do something else before returning, if that's what is needed.
Yeah. So in a way, does that suggest that spirit have an option to take a break, to clear the previous experience so that they can have another chance?
Yes. You say option, but yes. It is.
I mean, I've had conversation with others here who have said that if we do get a choice, they wouldn't choose to come back for another life here. But on average, maybe as a percentage, how many souls actually return to, to the earth plane for another life?
In the past, I would say about a good 70-75%.
Okay.
For those to return. But as things have evolved, they've also learned that to keep going back to the same thing is not always beneficial.
Yeah.
You cannot, as much as there is so much to learn living a human life, there are other lives and things to do. And there is always plenty of time, as you call it, to do it at another point.
Yeah.
I think what pulls people back to keep coming back is to keep an eye on loved ones. So they want to come back straight away, in some cases. But they forget that they can still connect and come back without having to live a life alongside anyway.
I mean, maybe situations are changing now because there's more and more people that are open to exploring that as human souls, I mean, and accepting that I can make those links.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you totally there.
Yeah, there's a definite change in attitude. Slightly different question now. Are there situations where spirits that have passed do not link up with loved ones on the earth plane to apologize for their actions? Maybe because there are planned life experiences yet to occur for their loved ones left on the earth plane. Some people are desperate to hear from those loved ones, and in many cases receive an apology, and they don't appear to.
Sometimes this is a failing of the spirit or soul that's passed.
Okay.
Sometimes as much as once you're living on the earth, you want to hear from your loved one, but also want an apology.
Yeah.
If that was to come, it might make you feel better, but then you would want to know the full reasons, and it just starts the same process again. With
So
the
it really
feelings.
continues. Yeah, it continues the torment. That's what you're saying, doesn't it?
Yes, it could do, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes as much as closure is what we need to help move us forward with certain experiences. Yeah. And I 100% agree with you that, and others in your group, as a human, you need the closure. What have you done wrong? Why was it you and not your sibling or somebody else? Why you? And or all of those questions that go through your mind. You want the closure.
Yeah.
But sometimes the answer you may receive is not going to make it any better than not having it.
Yeah.
And then the torment will start.
Yeah.
It would then become an obsession to get to the bottom of it. Then you may not accept what's been told. It just keeps going on and on. You may get that closure,
yeah,
maybe towards the end of a life, say. As much as you would want it to move forward, it might not be till you get it towards the end. For you to reflect.
How would you suggest that human souls, how can I say this, close it down as early as possible so they can get on with their lives?
If it is that somebody has passed, then this is so difficult because the emotions are different for everybody.
Yeah.
I do not wish to upset others by saying one thing, but accepting that that person and that situation has passed, it can no longer happen anymore.
Yeah.
That will then, if you can allow that as an answer, that has come to an end, it's not that you're going to forget it, but the torment or whatever was happening for that situation has come to a close for now. And maybe you'll get and look into, maybe I will get that answer when it is time and when it is needed. Maybe the way to look at it. I know that may sound vague, but it's the only way I can.
It's similar, but when I've come across people, all I've ended up trying to say is, if you don't find out in this lifetime, you'll find out when it's your time to pass.
Yes.
And
So
now
you
some
wrote the
people,
answer to your own question.
well, I did, but people don't always listen to me, do they? Whereas they will reflect on what you've said because of who you are. So anyway, thank you. That's good. If we're told, if we are part of the source, why do we appear to have individual identities? What's the purpose in that?
I don't know, but I'm glad I do have an individual identity.
So no.
I do not know the answer to that one.
All right, okay. You know how my mind works. I take it to the extreme. Now, knowing that time doesn't exist in spirit as it does on the earth plane, as some sort of statistic, what's the highest length of time that a spirit has remained in isolation before they show appropriate remorse for what would have been considered their unacceptable acts in their previous life? You know, is there an extreme?
Sorry for the delay. So there are some that are still in isolation, as you would put it,
Yeah,
that have been there for more years, more time than you can imagine.
yeah,
Others that you think could not be, how can I put this? There are some that you sometimes think will never accept what they've done,
yeah,
that actually come to realize it and honestly and truthfully accept everything that they have done. Can be quite quick, and those that you would call them the stubborn ones. I can't really explain it much more because it's one of those things that we do not, or we're not allowed to divulge the full details for, which would answer your question properly.
no, that's fine, David. That wasn't where I'm coming from. You've answered you basically said, as I see it, there are some situations where some souls have still not come to terms with or showing remorse for their actions, and others, with your help, do see what was considered wrong. You know, and
Yes, more quickly than you probably even thought they would.
yeah. No, I mean, I'm heartened to hear that, really. So, but you're also being honest and said there are some that haven't. Okay, thank you. I don't need to labour that point. That's fine. Thank you. As a human soul, are we really free to be who we really are?
Yes, you are free to be who you are.
Isn't a
Unfortunately,
lot of
the constraints of your surroundings and your teachings from when you was a child will shape you. But at any point, if you are strong enough and have the right belief, you can change that to whatever you wish.
but presumably we are attempting to follow our life plan, the plan that we chose to come and have.
I knew you was about to say this, but what I always say is, don't remember, you can always take a turn on your journey.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say now.
You can say it for me then.
We can make a turn off, but we will be influenced to get back on track.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm not meant to answer all my questions, am I? As a human soul, can we actually be judge and jury?
On what situation?
I suppose what I'm trying to say is in any situation where it's relevant, but we have a jury when in a legal system, then the jury have no determination. Well, in my society, they have no right or determination to determine. I know Spirit don't like me saying this, the punishment. That's where a judge independently or barristers take over and take that decision. It's always separate. But couldn't the people decide? Couldn't the jury decide? I'm not saying they should.
The thing is, on certain situations, it needs to be a combined group situation, as you say, with a jury that really needs to make the decision. But you're always going to have a few that are going to have more dominance than others to push their idea on it too.
Okay.
Everybody's perception of something will be different, never the same.
Yeah. I suppose the idea is that in a legal situation, the judge is the one with all, let's say, more balanced knowledge.
They will be the one that
and able to remove emotion.
Yes,
or should
because
be.
Their experience will have brought them to that point.
Yeah, okay. We're told to put ourselves first in certain scenarios, but can putting ourselves first be a selfish maneuver? And if so, how can we avoid it? As I say, how can we avoid that happening? And be true to ourselves at the same time.
This is only done through balance and observation of how you are treating others around you.
Okay.
If others are treating you a certain way, this is where taking yourself first is the thing to do. If somebody's constantly asking you for help and advice, or expecting you to do things, this is where you become first to say yes or no.
All right.
Not to be used. But when it works the other way, if you wish to help for free will, then this is purely your choice. So
And
you
then
would think of others first, but then when if you're finding yourself tired or too much, or it is you putting that forward for you to then take yourself first, to keep your own energies and balance. But it is trying to realize that when others are using you for their own purpose and gain, is when you can stamp your foot down and put yourself first.
Okay, that makes sense. Should we wait for people to ask for help before jumping in to help them?
If you ask kindly and politely, would you like my help? They say no, then no is the question. If you jump in and when you're trying to say, maybe you want to show somebody something and then you suddenly take that item off out of their hand, or you push them to the side, that is not going to, because that you are jumping in a situation without asking permission first.
Okay.
Always ask politely first. If the answer is no, take a step back and just observe.
Yeah, okay. Do many human souls still need to find themselves in order to move forward? And if they want to, do they have to do it for themselves?
Yes, there are many that needs to find a better balance within themselves, but it is only something that they can do for themselves. And it will be at a time that is necessary or relevant.
You know, I've seen many empaths who feel naturally drawn to helping people, and they end up making themselves ill because sometimes the people they're trying to help clearly make them aware that they don't want their help. So
yes,
that's why I'm asking some of these questions, so that people can hear what Spirit's view is.
Yes, as an empath, it is just a natural inbuilt to help others.
Yeah.
They're always forward thinking outside of themselves, and they forget about themselves.
Okay, thank you.
Because of this way of thinking, they absorb the energy of others as well.
Yeah.
Which drains their own, and then it gets mixed.
Yeah. Okay. We do talk about that. So, where does confidence cross over to being egotistical? How can it be avoided?
I don't think it can be avoided. I think it is part and parcel of the person at the time. And I think it is there to show others of maybe not what to be like, if I'm allowed to say this.
Okay, yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, that is a good example.
Because if nobody's like it, nobody would realize other ways of being.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Because I mean, I do accept we all need a little bit of confidence or ego just to help us move in a certain direction. But when that turns into what I call arrogance, it's not very pleasant to see.
Yes.
Why do you think humans are attracted by knowing about negative news? You know, in our papers, in our medias, on our television, because that seems to be apparent. No one wants to hear about happy, or not enough people show interest in receiving happy news.
This goes back so far. It is almost in all sorts of societies. But it actually started in the more affluent societies.
Okay.
Looking down on those with less, that had less than. And I think it is then that it built up. And it now just runs in all societies. But you will find that the civilizations or the communities around the earth still that live more isolated lives and apart from those do not necessarily have these traits. Your more indigenous peoples, you would call them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or those that are living in poorer conditions. Because they are living in such a low condition to others' point of views.
Okay.
The
Fair enough.
only thinking for them is to think more positively.
All right.
They look at they live in the moment rather than the past and the future, because it's the only way that they can survive.
That in a way stops them expecting things, doesn't it?
Yes. Expectation is a I can't think of the word for it. Yes, but expectation is not one of the better traits, I would say.
To be honest, through the communication in these circles, I've come to realize that expectation is actually a form of greed.
Yes.
Which, to be honest, before we started, I'd never even considered it like that. So that was a good lesson. When animal spirits pass, how are their lives reviewed, and what impressions of humans do they bring back, if any?
I have been explained to that their review is very simple. And it is more to do with them than their opinions of humans.
Okay.
Because once they get back to spirit, they move forward in a different way than we do.
All right.
That is all I can say with that, with the experience and those that
All
are
right.
with me this evening on this side.
Yeah.
We are sorry that we can't answer that anymore for you.
All right, thank you. Accept that. Before we run out of time, I mean, is there anything you would like to say to us as a group or individually on behalf of Spirit or yourself?
I would say I could do this individually, but I think if I combined it for all, it will all make sense. So there are some in the group that have fallen back a step, that they just need to believe in themselves again and what brought them forward and the strength that they had at the time. They will know this because they'll be having an aha moment as I say this, where they know that they have fallen back, but they've forgotten that they were strong enough to take themselves out of, I will say it, their depression.
Okay.
And they can see that they are falling back within their sadness. Just look within of what you did to take yourself out of it. Do not forget that we are always there, and the whole group and your families are there to help and support you. Do not think you can do this on your own or you need to do it on your own. There is always support there for you, but trust in yourselves. For others, those that have just passed and passed within, I would say, the last 18 months that have been in your minds and are struggling, please sense these energies that are now being transported to you. You should see the biggest smile of that loved one looking upon you and filling your heart. You may even feel a tear. They are with us tonight, not just guides. I sense that that should be enough for those to
thank
feel
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you, David. I
And
feel
open your
sure everyone.
hearts as well. Please open your hearts. I will leave my love and the love of your loved ones with you.
Thank you so much for coming through. I really enjoyed, our discussions.
It is my pleasure, and we thank you as well for allowing us to join you and connect with you. Bon voyage. See you soon.
Hopefully see you again. Okay, bye.
Good evening.
Time for us now to finish today's question and answer session. We would like to thank Spirit for being here to guide us and working directly with us. That includes our personal guides and for the additional advisors that have joined us here today to give us the benefit of their wisdom. Thank you for your continued support, which we do fully appreciate and value. We look forward to linking up again with you next time. Before we close the link, we hope you don't mind us spending a few minutes of our time exploring our personal direct links with Spirit. 2 to 3 minutes until I call you back into the room, everyone. Time now to refocus on your crown chakras, please. And as and when you have, close it down to break your link with Spirit. Move any residual energy you don't need down from your crown chakra to your brow chakra, onto your throat chakra, then to your heart chakra, further down to your solar plexus chakra, onto your sacral chakra, and then to your root chakra. Allow this surplus energy to move down through your legs and body to your feet and ground yourself on Mother Earth, please. When you are sufficiently grounded and in your own time, gently and slowly bring your attention back into the room. Are you okay, Pam?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah,
Is there anything you want to report, please?
yeah, it's a very short one tonight, and that I was shown many pieces that looked like a jigsaw puzzle, all separate, and they actually showed me and that it was put in a bag, and then as we go through life, all these the pieces of jigsaw are all jumbled up in this bag. But as time goes on, each one and each experience we have, and that is, it's like a piece of jigsaw coming up and putting us together slowly. So by the time we get to the end of life, that jigsaw puzzle has become whole, and that's where we are. We go to spirit as whole as we can be as a human. Okay, thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Pam. And on that note, everyone, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.